Animal care specialist, and today I'm joined by my fellow intern, Emily. So today we're going to be participating in a training session with our oldest resident dolphin, and his name is Nicholas. Before we get started with that, I do want to share with you a little bit more information about our facility and what we do. We are a rescue, rehabilitation, and release facility off the beaches of Gibsonton, Florida, which is in our southern Tampa Bay area. So at the time, he was not alone. He was up on the beach, and as he takes a tour around his water, you will notice all of those scars on his back. Now, it does look like a boat strike. However, that's not what happened. What happened was that he actually got a sunburn. So when he was up on that beach, he got second and third degree burns. Those burns covered about 30% of his body. So it was very severe, especially considering that he was about 6 months old. So he was just a baby. Most likely what happened was that he and his mom stranded themselves, and while they were on that beach, Nicholas didn't know any better and just followed mom right up onto shore. Now, we were able to rescue the pair and bring them back here for rehabilitative care. However, his mother unfortunately passed away after a few days. So during that time, he was then an orphan calf and became dependent on people very early on. Typically, dolphin calves will spend about 3 to 7 years with their mothers in order to survive. So they would learn things like how to hunt, how to socialize, or even protect themselves from predators. So those are skills that he does not have. Those are things that Emily, as well as myself, cannot teach him. So he can only learn those things from his mom or a group member. And again, unfortunately, because they stranded and he had those severe burns, he became dependent on human care. So for that reason, he was deemed by the U.S. government a non-releasable candidate. Anytime there's a dolphin or a whale that strands in the United States, the U.S. government is immediately involved in that case, and that's because we want to ensure that that individual is going to get the help and care that they need. Now, they're also ultimately the ones who decide whether or not that dolphin or a whale is releasable. If they are releasable, typically the process is going to be very hands-off. We're not going to be working very closely because once they're in the wild, we do not want them to be approaching people. However, if they're deemed non-releasable, that's usually when training is going to start. So part of our training is for medical care. This is probably the most important set of behaviors. Basically what that behavior entails is that we can ask Nicholas to lay out in front of us. We can get an entire look at his, since are mammals just like us, so right here in the center is his belly button. So that is a dolphin's belly button. Also, just like us, they're a little ticklish. Now, medical care behaviors, we practice these behaviors where the situation and they're comfortable participating. Everything that we do is always voluntary, and we strive really hard to teach these behaviors voluntary so we don't have to go in the water and restrain them or have to dry dock them. So one of the behaviors we're going to practice today, this is a peck present. So Emily's working on him presenting his peck. So again, we can get a really close for me. And he's going to present his tail up to me. We call this area the tail flukes. And basically, this is the area in which we would collect blood from. And again, we practice this every single day. You'll notice that I don't have a medical kit out here. I don't have a needle or syringe. We're just working on them have to worry about finding his own prey. We'll use it a little different in this environment, but basically it works the same. So he's going to be watching me and imitating every action that I'm doing. Now we can take it a step further and introduce concept behaviors. So concept for people would be something like adding, subtracting, multiplying. This hand signal, which basically tells him that he can get creative. He can offer any behavior he knows, or he can make up a new behavior. It's completely up to him. Now, the only part to this concept is that he cannot do two things in a row that are the same. So let's see how he does. So you can see he's going to get really creative on his own, offer up a wide range of different types of behaviors. So it's a lot of fun. They get to do behaviors that they already know, or they get to make up something completely new. So it is a concept. A lot of facilities will teach different types of concept behaviors. He also knows another concept of matching. So we can throw out a bunch of different toys in his pool, show him a matching toy, and ask him to retrieve it. So it's really cool what you can teach them. I know a couple of facilities a little bit further south of us have actually taught their dolphins how to count, believe it or not. So there's a wide range of different types of concepts. Again, the only I want to ask you folks, is anyone hot? Of Rose, this is your opportunity to move out of the way. Otherwise, I hope he gets you pretty wet.
Takes them more effort. Looks like
Wow, what a job! You're so cute! Now all these little flips that you see him doing, that's all him. I'm not asking him to do that little flip. He loves exercise, believe it or not. That's one of his favorite things to do. Looks like you guys are a little dry.